Hey, welcome to Learning to Cast Metal. This is the introductory video. All right, well, this is, as I said, this is the introduction. This is my story. This is me learning to cast metal. That's why the title is what it is. If you learn along the way, good for you. That is just a benefit for me. But this is really documenting what I have learned over the course of a couple years. And I started off really bad at the beginning, really bad. And I've had some great mentoring. I've had some great help along the way. And I think I've learned a little bit. Along the way, we're going to tackle a number of individual topics. The goal is 10 minutes per video, real short. I promise you a pour on every single one, so if that's what you're interested in, you'll always get one. And I'm going to try to use my old videos a lot of times as fodder for how not to do it. And because there's a lot of my old stuff was pretty bad, pretty cringeworthy. That said, today I am going to use somebody else's video by means of introducing the whole series. I was on an Instagram the other day. I ran across a post by a guy named, let's see, Stuff I Do Sometimes. That's his channel or whatever you call him on Instagram. I saw what he did. He really did try to do it right. Had a lot of great intentions, but it just didn't pull it off, didn't have the things implemented quite right. I talked to him. I made a deal with him. If I could cast the part that he's trying to cast, I'd send him the models if he'd let me use his videos. He agreed, so he's all for this. He's looking for me to do it. Looking forward to seeing the video come out. So let's take a look at what he's got. All right, so let's look at his casting and his posting. In this first picture, we see all the pieces and parts in place here. They're just... they have some problems, okay? We can see the bottom of his sprue. We can see a runner. We can see a gate. We can see a spin trap. We see the part. I'm going to have a video that talks about all of these names and what they are in the mold. That'll actually be the next video because we want to understand what all those things are called. So as we move forward through the series, we'll know what we're talking about. And then he shows this video of his pour, and we're going to talk about cans and what they do to your pores. And he told me that he uses a can as a way to increase the target for his pour. I'm going to talk about some things that will hopefully eliminate the need for a large target can. We're going to talk about crucible placement. We're going to talk about body position while we're pouring our metal. I'm going to talk about that as well. And do some things that can really make it a lot easier for us and improve our castings and increase our safety at the same time. We're going to talk about, and when I talk about the sprue design, we're going to talk about the speed of metal. We're going to talk about how fast it goes through that sprue and what is happening when we entrain air, when we capture air inside that casting. You see castings that look like Swiss cheese. In my opinion, that's the biggest reason. And finally, here is his result. It's pretty much what I would have expected based on what I saw. And now that I see his sprue, I can see why. I mean, when I first started, people told me I needed to use a tapered sprue to choke the metal. Choke the metal. We're going to address that in the video about offset basins and tapered sprue as well. Choking the metal is the last thing you want to do. And I made a deal with Stuff I Do Sometimes that if he'd let me use this Instagram post, I would cast the part and I would send him the model so that he could successfully cast the part. So let's go ahead and get it cast. All right, well, I modeled the part with a different gate design than what you saw, and I will show that off at the end of the video. And I've opted for a split pattern, and one that we place part of the pattern in the drag and part of it in the cope. We're going to do a video here on ramming sand. I think that's the third video. First one, second. Yeah, it's the third video. And you feel free to say things like, go pound sand. I fully expect to see that in the comments. With the drag all rammed up, we're going to turn it over and start working on the cope. That is the top half of the box. I forgot, almost forgot. We're going to feed this part. I need to put a feeder on here. And this is actually the second time I've cast this part. The first time I did it without a feeder. And I was afraid that it would shrink at this thick section here. And of course, fortunately for the sake of introducing the topic of feeders, it did shrink. So we're going to put a feeder on this part this time around. And I do plan on doing a video on feeders, feeder placement, feeder size, things like that. I'm not getting heavy into the math or anything like that because I can't, but we will talk about them. Every video will contain a pour, so if you were here just to see metal come out of the crucible, you won't be disappointed. All right, well, that was horrible. Cut me some slack, though. It's been about 6 months since I poured any metal, and so I was a little bit all over the place with that basin. It will get better, promise me. The other pours that we in the series are better. And here it is out of the sand. You can see the part is completely filled. The shrinkage is gone. And we actually have minimal cleanup to do. You can see my gate there is a little different than what stuff I do sometimes did. So just in case you're wondering, these are all of the tools that I use to clean this part up. Yeah, a hacksaw and a file. That's it. It was really pretty simple. Hey, if you're on Instagram, go ahead and follow me at RealSWDweeb. I would love it. I post pictures of what I'm casting. I also post pictures of things like pizza I'm making. And go give stuff I do sometimes some love while you're out there. And as always, have a great day. Stay safe.